Hi, Mrs. Smith. My name is Michaela. I'm a student physical therapist. I see you have a wound on your left lower leg right above your ankle. Do you mind if we just take a look at it today, examine it, and make sure that you are on the right track to healing and preventing any future wounds? Sure. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is put on some clean pair of gloves here to make sure we do not um, bring any bacteria or causing any infection for your wound, and we don't transfer any possible infection elsewhere to yourself, to myself, or to others. So that's step one. Next thing we're going to do is just make some general observations, starting with the location. So, like I said, it's on your left leg, and it's on the medial side. It's distal, and it is right above the medial malleolus. Taking a look at the shape, that's important. So it has an irregular shape. It's not round or circular. As far as its color, we can see that it's very bright red, a little bit of dark red in there. So I'd say it's 90% red, and we have some white and yellow on the outskirts of the wound. Looking on the outside of the wound, so the surrounding area in your leg in general, we see first that we have some necrotic or black tissue around it. And you can also see that your leg is a little swollen or inflamed here, so that's important to take note of. What we can do is we can get a good idea of the temperature around this wound just by using the back of my hand here. And I'd say it's a little warm. Compare it to your other leg here, and yep, I'd say that this one's a little warm. You also see that it looks wet, if we have some drainage in that area. The next thing we can do is note the pulse in the nearby area of your wound. So first pulse we can check is at your tibialis posterior, so right over here. That pulse I'd give about a +1 with, or 1+ with 2+ being normal for strength. And we can now take the pulse at your dorsalis pedis, right over here. I'd also give that pulse a 1+. So next thing we're going to do is measure this wound. So we're going to measure the size, that way in a couple weeks we can measure it again, and we want it to be smaller. We're going to use the clock method here. So we are going to look at this wound like it's a clock, meaning top and bottom are going to be 12 and 6, and then side to side we want 9 to 3. So for length, we're just going to we're trying to measure a parallel line, a line parallel to your leg. So place that there and use back up a little. Okay, we use our finger to mark the spot. We'll compare it to our ruler here, and we get 5.6 centimeters for length. Then we will get the width, so just perpendicular to that line we need. And the width is 2.3. And next we're going to measure the depth. So we're going to find the deepest part of the wound and measure that there. Taking our ruler, we find that to be about 0.5 centimeters. Now we can look at the edges and use the clock method too. So about from 1:32 down to 5 o'clock here, and we're looking from your point of view, we see that we have rolled edges. We come down here to from 7 up to 9, we have another rolled edge. And as you can see, they're not as intact as the other edges of this wound. as this wound progresses and it heals, we want those edges to flatten out and become the same level as the wound. That way the tissue will lie flatly across it. So by looking, by everything that we've observed, I don't see any signs of infection. Like I said, we do have some black necrotic tissue surrounding this wound. However, we cannot rule in infection just from that observation alone. What we can do now is do some further testing. That way we can maybe get an idea of what caused this wound. One of the tests being the ABI test, where we take the blood pressure at your ankle as well as your arms. Before I do that, do you have any questions for me?